This video is going to be the top 10 most romantic lines from George R. R. Martin's A Song of Ice and Fire series. This will be no spoilers from the Game of Thrones show, so jumping right in, number 10, Robb Stark. I took her castle, and she took my heart. So yeah, we're all kind of pissed about Robb and his decision and what led to the Red Wedding, but this line is actually really sweet. You have this man who has a fever and is being nursed back to health by this woman, and then he gets news of Winterfell and of Bran of Rickon, and then in his grief, she's there to console him, and one thing leads to another, and yeah, he makes a mistake, but he still does the honorable thing, and it really is kind of endearing that she did take his heart in a way. So I placed it as number 10 because I'm still pretty PO'd at Robb, but that line was kind of romantic. Number 9, it's just not one line, you can see this as multiple lines, but every time Daenerys would say to Drogo, my sun and stars, and then he would say back to her, moon of my life. Super romantic line, and unfortunately kind of overdone because now you see everyone wearing those shirts or those necklaces or relationship bracelets or whatever, giving them to each other. So that line is ranked up at number 9 because while it is super sweet and endearing, it's kind of overdone now. Still mad Khal Drogo's dead though. Number 8, this is both sweet and sad. It's on their wedding night, Sansa and Tyrion's wedding night, and she's freaked out and obviously doesn't want to sleep with Tyrion because he's ugly and she's kind of a shallow teenager. His speech that he gives to her, bed when the candles are blown out, I am made no worse than other men. In the dark, I am the Knight of Flowers. I am generous, loyal to those who are loyal to me. I've proven I'm no craven, and I am cleverer than most. Surely wits count for something. I can even be kind. Kindness is not a habit with us Lannisters, I fear, but I know I have some somewhere. I could be good to you. And he's so desperately just trying to reach out to Sansa and show, I am a good person, I will treat you right. I'm not like my Lannister family that has just been absolutely terrible to you. I can be good to you. And it's so romantic and it's so sad that this man is in love with Shay, another woman, and yet he is trying so hard to be good to this woman who is treating him like trash and like he's just the ugliest thing ever and wants nothing to do with him. Loras Tyrell, yeah, he's a teenager, but, you know, there's a lot of teenagers in George R. R. Martin's thing, and his line, he's talking to Tyrion and saying, you know, I'm not going to continue on the line, I have other brothers, the line of Tyrell will continue, and Tyrion's basically like, what of love? And Loras goes, when the sun has set, no candle can replace it. And that is such a beautiful line, and just talks about how much he loved Renly. And even though Tyrion then is a jackass afterwards and like, yes, you're 17, I can see that now. But it is a beautiful line and so sweet. Number 6, though he sometimes bothers me, but when Daario is coming back to Daenerys, and he is saying, I was hurrying home to my queen to bask in the warmth of her smile. It is so adorable, and he's just so charismatic, and you knew those two were going to get together when you just saw how charming he was. But his lines are just always they make you smile even though you're kind of like, ugh, I hate you. Number 5, kind of continuing on those lines of Jorah, just how much he loves her, and you can see this, and when he finally kisses Dany, and then she's like, you know, you shouldn't have done that, and he, you know, just goes on about all the places that he should have kissed her, and when he goes, you were made to be kissed often and well. And then unfortunately his eyes fall to her breast and kind of ruin the whole romantic line. But in itself, that was a very romantic line, and kind of glad that he finally made the move on her. Number 4 is definitely Davos writing to his wife, and just saying, I was a better smuggler than a knight. A better knight than a king's hand, a better king's hand than a husband. I am so sorry. I have loved you. Please forgive the wrongs I did to you. And this is just a man that is so upset with how he's treated the woman he loves and just is begging for her forgiveness and still trying to take care of her even though he knows that he might not make it out. And to me, it just was a beautifully written letter, and at the same time, it's so romantic, but it's so sad that you have this man pouring out his heart and admitting that he loves this woman, but he just is not good enough for her, and he wishes that he was. Number 3, Aemon Targaryen has a lot of great lines, but especially his line when he goes, what is honor compared to a woman's love? What is duty against the feel of a newborn son in your arms, or the memory of a brother's smile? Winds and words, winds and words. We are only human, and the gods have fashioned us for love. That is our great glory and our great tragedy. Number 2, and okay, yeah, this one is a little screwed up, but shows, I'm hoping, and this just isn't him being manipulative, how much Peter loved Catelyn Stark. And when he is trying to comfort Lysa and saying, you know, I have only ever loved one woman, I promise you. And she is smiling and going, oh, Peter, you swear it. And he goes, only Cat. And really, even though this woman is gone, even though he is married to her sister, even though that woman has rebuffed him and has gone off with someone else, he still loves this woman, is still loyal to her, and no matter what, he just will always love her. And yeah, he's creeping on her daughter a little bit, but still super sweet. In, you know, that creepy, obsessed sort of way. And then finally, number 1. Both romantic and sad, when Catelyn is not eating and she's realizing that she's dizzy and food has lost her savor to her. She's just not interested in food anymore, and then she thinks, food has lost its savor in a world without Ned. When they took his head off, they killed me too. And it's so sad, especially when we go to the Red Wedding and she's worried about her hair and going, Ned loves my hair, and still talking about him as if he's still alive. And it's just, oh, you can feel how much that she loved him and how much she's grieving now that he's gone. So if incest isn't your thing, you might not find this too romantic, but you can't deny that Jaime does genuinely love Cersei. And when he has his hand cut off and he's reunited with Cersei, and she's going, no, it's more, you've changed, we'll talk later on the morrow, I have Sansa Stark's maids in the Tower Cell, I need to question them, you should go to Father. And Jaime goes, I have crossed 1,000 leagues to come to you, and lost the best part of me along the way. Don't tell me to leave. And Cersei still tells him to leave. But that line to me just says so much about Jaime. I mean, he's willing to do whatever he needs to be with Cersei, and Cersei just is always thinking about herself and what she can get. Those were my top 10 most romantic lines from the books. I'm sure you have your own. You can list them below. Like I said, some of these are romantic lines, but they're kind of twisted in who delivers them and how they're delivered. But in themselves, with how that person feels, they are really romantic, even if they're kind of in the wrong, creepy place. So make sure you come back Sunday when we talk about Jaehaerys II. Otherwise, come back next Wednesday when we do another random Game of Thrones video.